Flashback MMA. Why the UFC turned on Brendan Schaub. Flashback MMA. Why the UFC turned on Brendan Schaub. Let's check this out. It's got 21. Oh, it's got nearly 80,000 views already. Well done to the person that made it. It's fucking sick. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
He has to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet.
It's a crab-like world. Everyone's pulling each other down, trying to get to the top. And then the biggest fat fucking lobster's at the top, Dana White, pushing you guys down.
You know how stupid you have to be?
That's quite funny though. Calling Dana a fat lobster is fucking crazy. Calling Dana a fat lobster is fucking hilarious.
We might have to send him out to the clinic here, the brain clinic, get him checked out.
I tell you the truth. You're a dick. And everyone's sick of it.
I don't want to get into this pissing contest with Dana.
Too late. He basically pulled his dick out and peed all over you.
Only one of us is going to walk out unscathed, and it's me.
If you enjoy deep dives into the most controversial stories in MMA, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Now, let's step into the world of Brendan Sha. Born on March 18, 1983 in Aurora, Colorado, Brendan Sha was raised in a sports-focused household.
Kid grew up in Denver, Colorado. Athletics was my path to, I guess, stardom.
With early exposure to martial arts through his father, a Taekwondo black belt. At Overland High School, he excelled athletically.
Since I was like 5, I've just been into working out. You know, as a young kid, I just had tenacity and heart. As a kid, I was just born with that. Like, you'd have to kill me to beat me.
Lettering in varsity lacrosse for 2 years and varsity football for 1.
Football was the dream. And it was just a sad.
So again, technically, he was more successful at lacrosse than he was football, right? Technically, he was more successful at lacrosse than he was football, but he doesn't talk about his lacrosse career too much. He always tries to make himself look like an NFL player. It's like, brother, you never played in the NFL. You never played in the NFL. Your stats for your college team are horrendous, but he has pretty good stats for lacrosse. Why don't you embrace the lacrosse identity?
Savage as a young kid in sports, and it's my way to make a name for myself.
Despite his performances, he received no scholarship offers.
I got hurt my senior year in high school.
Yeah, I love how, oh, you'd have to kill me to get me off. I'm the best athlete. It's like, he got no offers. You have to kill me. I'm the best. I'm the animal. I'm game guy. I was the guy. He received no offers. I'm sorry, but if you're the guy and you're always game and you have to get killed to get dragged off, someone's going to make an offer. Some franchise, some organization is gonna need someone like you for the locker room, just for in general. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna want someone like you, a dog, right? A guy that's got a real dog in him. The fact that you didn't get any offers, I think, is proof that your skills went up to par, really and truly.
School football.
I get hit. The guy breaks my ribs, runs into my liver. Season's over. Missed the entire season. Scholarships are gone. No one's recruiting me.
He walked on at Whittier College, competing in both football and lacrosse.
They offered me an academic scholarship if I played lacrosse and football.
Before transferring to the University of Colorado Boulder to focus solely on football.
Went back to the coach who recruited me as a junior at University of Colorado and like begged him to put me on the team. He's like, all right, we'll give you opportunity. I'm like, that's all I need.
He redshirted his first season as a tight end for the Buffaloes.
And then I was like, yep, I'm going to the NFL.
Schaub went undrafted in the 2006 NFL Draft,
which was heartbreaking.
He signed with the Utah Blaze in the Arena Football League in 2006, but was released before making the roster.
Fucking hell, bro. That's brutal, bro. That's kind of brutal. Like, people don't give him enough credit. Like, not no credit, but there's no lot of sympathy or empathy for someone like him, innit? Because you can tell he had a dream from when he was young to always be an NFL player. You're kind of grooming yourself in that way. You're kind of directing yourself in that direction. He's a big lad, right? It must be, like, especially in America, with football being such a big sport and all these friends being football players like Kloppenstein and wherever else it may be, like, that's got to hurt, man. When, like, your football dream is over that quickly. No, it's got to be brutal. Like, don't get drafted in the fucking draft and then you get let go from an arena football team. Isn't arena football like lower than NFL? Like, damn. You didn't make the roster on an arena football team. Eek, eek, eek.
A second stint in early 2007 ended the same way.
Got cut there. I'm like, well, this isn't how it's supposed to go.
By 2007, his football career was over. He stepped away from the sport and began searching for a new path, one that would soon lead him into mixed martial arts. To make a living, Schaub worked as a door-to-door salesman during the day while training in mixed martial arts in the evenings.
I had a double major, so my dad was always like, use your degree, man. And so I was selling supplements door to door. But that's what gave me my background, like marketing.
Training at high-altitude martial arts and grudge training.
You have a gun?
Yo, big up, casual.
He told us his dream was comedian too, though.
Yeah. Look. Don't. What you shouldn't do, Mr. Casual and everybody else in the stream chat. Mr. Casual and everybody else in the stream chat. What you shouldn't do is ever listen to what Brendan has to say. Don't listen. Don't pay attention to what he has to say. No, that's it, yeah. Don't pay attention to what he has to say. Just listen to what he has to say. Do you get it? Don't pay attention. Just listen. And don't ask any questions. Because yes, at one time he did tell us that his dream was to be a comedian. His dream was to be on SNL. He didn't actually want to be this big tough guy. He always wanted to be a fucking dandy. He wanted to be a class clown. He wanted to be a entertainer. You know? He didn't want to be a big bully, a big oaf. He wanted to be a softer, kinder kid that was into the arts and entertainment. Well, now we're finding out the truth.
Training center in Colorado, Schaub met and befriended UFC heavyweight contender Shane Carwin, who became a mentor and training partner.
That's my main training partner. We would just meet heads, and me and Shane, that's all we had.
I was boxing.
And training.
No wonder he's got CTE though, isn't it? No wonder he can't pronounce words well, no? No wonder he can't pronounce words well. Look at this guy, man. No wonder Brendan can't pronounce words too well. Look at the size of this man. Look at this guy. He's a fucking unit. This is the guy that Brendan was sparring with daily. Daily sparring with this guy. No wonder Brendan doesn't have a chin. No wonder Brendan had a glass chin before he even got into the UFC. His chin was a bit glassy. No wonder he has a speech impediment. No wonder, man. God almighty. Look at the size of this guy.
Partner.
That's my main training partner. We would just meet heads, and me and Shane, that's all we had.
I was boxing, I'd spar with him. I was doing well.
Shane was such a, I'll argue with anyone, hardest hit in the UFC of all time. Shane Carwin, if he hit you flush, it was fucking trouble.
He also trained diligently in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, ultimately earning a black belt years later in his post-UFC life. Shane signed Brendan to a boxing tournament.
And then he's like, Golden Gloves is next week. I'm like, what's that? He's like, the big boxing tournament. He's like, I signed you up. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right.
Have you ever knocked someone out before in just a fist fight or anything like that?
Never been in a street fight, nothing.
No, really? You've never been...
No.
My dad finds out and he's like, you're an idiot. And I was like, cool, just come. If I win, let me pursue this. He's like, all right.
Within 6 months of picking up boxing in 2007, he won a Colorado novice heavyweight title in Golden Gloves amateur boxing.
I knocked out 3 guys in one night.
Under Carwin's wing, Schaub honed his skills and soon turned professional in mixed martial arts. Schaub burst onto the regional MMA scene in 2008, compiling an impressive 4-0 record in local promotions across Colorado and Virginia.
I'm ready for anything, ready for it to go anywhere.
Yo, big up wrestling universal community. Yes, brother, I'm good, always good, brother. Hope you're good as well. Hope you and the family and everyone else is good. Big up wrestling universal community. Big up.
If he wants to keep on his feet, you know, that's definitely in my favor.
His early victories all came by way of knockout in the first round, and he even captured the Ring of Fire MMA Heavyweight Championship in April 2009. This string of dominant wins put the hybrid on the radar of the UFC. In mid-2009, Schaub was signed by the Ultimate Fighting Championship to compete on Season 10 of the hit reality series, The Ultimate Fighter.
I was training with Rashad Evans. He goes, hey, you know, The Ultimate Fighter Season 10 is heavyweights. I'm a coach. I'm like, what? He goes, they want to interview you because they know you can fight. Because at the time I had like 2 or 3 fights and just starching dudes.
Yeah.
But I walk in, I didn't know this is the way they fuck with you. He goes, excuse me, sir, what's your name? I go, Brendan Sha. He goes, cool. We're looking for heavyweights. You're way too small. You think those fat fucks out there? I go, oh, buddy. And they're like, you got it.
The TUF 10 season was coached by Rashad Evans and Quentin Rampage Jackson and featured only heavyweight fighters.
And he was the only...
I love how Brendan always kills, by the way. In his stories, he's always the killer, isn't it? I love how in all Brendan's stories, he's always a killer, isn't it? He walked into the room, he made the whole room laugh. Oh, I'll beat up all those fat fucks. You know what I mean? He's always like in his story, he always sounds so funny. He always sounds so amazing. It's just interesting. There's never a story he tells about himself where he's not the funniest guy in the room. Oh yeah, I went in, I just said this and the whole room was laughing. Literally, they were rolling on the floor. And then they signed me right there and then. They gave me a fat contract there and then. Actually, one of the ladies behind the desk actually jumped over the desk, got on her knees, and gave me a little BJ. All right, mate. All right.
guy on the other team that I actually liked.
I only hung out with Rampage.
Schaub became Team Rashad's #2 pick and quickly proved himself in the TUF house.
I have 2 fighters on the show that I know that are teammates of mine.
Yo, big up. What's up, wrestling community? I saw my daughter today, so I'm happy and good to see that. I'm glad you see your daughter. Love to her. Hope you're well, AZ. Yes, I'm always good, brother. Always good. The Bappaverse is different. Rarely seems like it's been taken over by the Epstein. Yeah. There's a lot of people doing this now. There's a lot of people doing this Bappaverse stuff. There's a lot of people doing this stuff. But you ain't missed much, by the way. You ain't missed much. Brendan's still doing it. Actually, the most you've missed so far is there is a strong suggestion that Brendan is selling his house. The house he moved to Austin, the one that was meant to be his long-term house, the dream home. He's selling it, and he's also selling a bunch of cars lately. And there's also him being sued by the old studio in LA. That's the major news, really. But nothing else really major, to be fair, has happened. So you haven't missed much. You haven't missed much, sir.
One of them, James McSweeney, and the other one, Brendan Sha. Those guys are my main focus because, and you know, those are my brothers.
You're living in this house with 16 other dudes, and you can't leave, and there's no phone, there's no books, there's nothing, and then you're fighting once every week, once every 2 weeks, like that.
There's no books, lols, there's no books. As if you're going to read. There's no books, as if you're going to read. Come on, brother. Give it a rest. There's no books.
That's not the real life of a UFC fighter.
In my mind, I'm like, right, I just got to kick ass for 6 weeks. I'm going to have a career.
As Kimbo Slice walks in, the first soundbite's me, and that was a big deal for everyone. I go, fuck this guy. I think I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because like, oh, he's cocky.
I think Kimbo Slice kind of has a bounty over his head, for sure. When he walked in, it's kind of like the sheep entering the room with a bunch of wolves.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Schaub showcased a well-rounded game. He won his first exhibition.
Of course, Brendan's the only guy in the world that would hate Kimbo Slice, isn't it? Of course, Brendan will be the only guy in the world that would say the words, fuck this guy about Kimbo Slice, of course. Of course he would say, fuck Kimbo Slice. R.I.P. Kimbo Slice. Man, Kimbo Slice would kill it right now, man. R.I.P. to him. He died too soon, innit? He gone too soon. Imagine what Kimbo Slice would be doing in streaming. Imagine how good Kimbo Slice would be as a streamer right now. R.I.P. Kimbo Slice, man. R.I.P. Gone too soon. He would have killed it in streaming. He would have killed it in streaming right now. Killed it. Celebrity fights. Imagine the celebrity fights he could have had. He would have made so much money, man. R.I.P. to him, man. R.I.P.
bout on the show by submitting Demico Rogers with an anaconda choke in the first round. He then knocked out John Madsen in the quarterfinals and followed up by knocking out former NFL player Marcus Jones in the semis to reach the tournament final. These exhibition wins set up the TUF finale matchup between Schaub and veteran Roy Big Country Nelson on December 5th, 2009.
You know, on the show, going into the house, Roy was the favorite, having his experience and his background and stuff like that.
So it's actually a good achievement. He can get to the final, isn't it? That's a decent achievement. He actually beat some really good people to get to a final. But after that, it was a bit of a downward spiral.
But he's fighting a different animal, you know, on Saturday night. I wouldn't consider myself an underdog in the least bit.
Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, Brendan, the Hybrid Sha!
In the finale, Schaub's official UFC debut, he started strong but was caught by Nelson's signature overhand right, resulting in a first-round knockout loss in the finale bout.
That being your debut in the UFC is brutal, isn't it, man? That being the first time anyone sees you, that being the image everyone sees of you in the UFC is brutal. God damn, bro. And I personally think that's the reason why you don't want to see him in the ring anymore. I think Brendan's kind of embarrassed by all this shit. That's why you won't see him ever in the ring. I don't think Brendan's ever gonna take a celebrity fight. Even now, as he's kind of somewhat down bad, I don't think you're ever gonna see Brendan do a celebrity fight anytime soon. I don't think he's too happy about this sort of stuff, but it's kind of crazy, isn't it? The first time you're on the UFC, the first UFC appearance you get, this happens. Ugh. Brutal. Brutal.
Finale bout, Nelson became the TUF season winner, while Schaub, as the runner-up, earned a UFC contract and the respect of fans for his performance on the show. Despite the setback against Roy Nelson, Schaub remained a promising new heavyweight in the UFC.
If you lose on the Ultimate Fighter, and then they give you one more shot in the real UFC, you lose that one, you're in trouble.
He rebounded in his next fight with an explosive performance.
Fighting in front of my hometown in Denver, I'm looking for the knockout, and I plan on finishing in convincing fashion.
Knocking out Chase Gormley in just 47 seconds in his home state of Colorado.
Huge victory for Brendan Sha. Getting a lot of love here in your hometown, Brendan. That's gotta feel good. I love you, Denver. I love you.
That might be the only time he had so much love and appreciation in the crowd, and they're going crazy. That might be one of the rarest moments ever in Brendan Schaub history, where the crowd is literally cheering for him. That, and maybe you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that the crowd are really crunk to see him as well. That might be the one time people were really crunk for Brendan. Like, wow, you've done it. Well done, bro. You done it. You done it. You know? Because the bounce back, that was a pretty brutal loss. That was a pretty brutal loss, right? At the UFC final. The tough final, whatever. So this was a really good comeback.
That is one happy Colorado Buffalo, baby.
Of course, you love Rogan. Of course, you love Rogan so much. Look at that. That's a Rogan love. That's the real Rogan love. Of course, there's the Rogan love. He knew even then this man's gonna change my life. He knew even then he knew this man's gonna change my life. I got a stick next to him. He's gonna change my life.
Buffalo, baby.
Schaub's power was on full display again that July at UFC 116, where he scored another first-round TKO, this time over Chris Tuchscherer in just over 1 minute.
Brendan Sha defeats Chris Tuchscherer.
These back-to-back knockout wins began to build Schaub's reputation as a heavy-handed contender. Riding the momentum, Schaub next faced former title challenger Gabriel Gonzaga at UFC 121 in October 2010. He showed composure and improved technique, outpointing Gonzaga to win a clear unanimous decision.
Brendan, that was the best we've seen you in the octagon and the best against probably one of the most dangerous guys in the division.
This victory over a former top contender earned Schaub a spot in the heavyweight top 10 and set up the biggest fight of his young career. In March 2011, Brendan Schaub was matched with Pride legend Mirko Krokop Filipovic at UFC 128, a major opportunity and
I wonder, right? I wonder. Was this the moment everyone started to hate Brendan? Was this the moment? Because on paper, this is a pretty impressive record. On paper. After losing the fucking first fight in the UFC, right? In really brutal fashion, that knockout was crazy. The eyes blinking and him looking like he doesn't know where he is. Then bouncing back and knocking out that one guy in 47 seconds, right? The one guy in 47 seconds. Another person in the first round. Then beating Mirko Krokop. That's a fucking crazy, really good free run. Free fight, back to back, that you killed it. But, was this victory against Mirko Krokop the start of when people started to hate Brendan? Because Mirko Krokop, for whatever reason, don't know why, maybe because of his strike, maybe because of his fucking kickboxing career, he was always beloved by UFC fans. MMA fans love Mirko Krokop. They love him. They love him. Like he's a proper fan favorite, and they were probably all hoping that he would beat Brendan. But when Brendan beat him the way he did as well, was that why people started hating Brendan? Like, fuck him, man. Like, why did he win? Because he won in I won't say a fluky way. There was a bit of a, whatever. Like, I wonder if that was the reason why people started to hate Brendan. It's not his fault because you beat who you want to. You have to beat who's in front of you. But I wonder if some people actually started to hate Brendan because he beat one of their favorites. He beat one of their favorites, which also started his downward spiral, innit?
Test of how the new blood would fare against a famous veteran. The bout was competitive, with Schaub using timely takedowns and strikes, and in the third round he seized his moment. Schaub knocked out Krokop with a right hand.
Brendan Schaub knocks out Mirko Krokop!
The emphatic KO earned Schaub a knockout of the night bonus and marked the highest profile win of his career.
Toughest fight of my life. You know, he shattered my nose in 16 places, reconstructed nose surgery.
He's an absolute legend, man. I have no business being in the same octagon as him.
You're the reason I got started, Mirko. Brandon, that's 2 legends in a row for you.
I'm thrown up. I'm in so much pain after the fight. I look at Krokop and I go, hey, what are we doing, man? And he looks at me with his broken English and goes, this is life. I remember thinking, it was the first seed in my head. I went, is it though? I looked down and I went, is it?
I would not risk my life for this. This is not my passion.
With a 4-fight UFC win streak.
Damn, man. Damn. Imagine winning a fight like that. Winning a fight by knocking out a legend, but even though you won, you realize that you're not built for it. He must have got fucked up in it. I never watched that Mirko Krokop fight, but Mirko Krokop must have really put the beats on him in it. Even though he won, he still wanted to quit at that moment after. Hi. That is scary, isn't it? That shows you how hard MMA is. That shows you how difficult it is at that level. He was in such a, even though he won, he knocked out a legend Everyone was betting against him. He won that fight. He knocked him out. After the fight, he still thought to himself, fucking hell, I don't know if I could do this long term. Because he knows the next way, the only way is up, right? He's only going to get hard. And oh yeah, you know what I realized? It's because he realized it's only going to get harder from now on. Because he's beaten all the cans, right? He beat all the cans. He beat all the people that he should beat. Now he's getting to the territory
you have a gun?
of fighting. Yeah. Oh, you're big up.
It's like bargain bin Jake Paul Co Tyson.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that because the damage he's taken. I think he realized at that moment the damage he's taken. He's gonna have to endure more damage in order to get a belt. I think that's what he realized. He realized he's not elite enough to make Mirko Cro Cop not hurt him. That's what he probably realized. He realized I'm not on the level where I can get into a fight where I can fight Mirko Cro Cop and not have him hurt me. He's gonna hurt me because he's of a certain level. But I can also hurt him because I've got a puncher's chance of winning, and that's what he did, right? Fighting is always a puncher's chance where you can knock out somebody, even if you don't think you have the skills to do so. He did it. But he realized whatever fight he has next is going to be harder than that. And he won that one. You know what I mean? Like, wow, man. Honestly, that's the thing you have to give him respect for. Say what you want about Brendan. Piece of shit. Can be a bit of a bully. But you have to give him respect for this fucking UFC career. You know? He had no business being in UFC. He'd never fought before when he was younger. He only did UFC to make money, basically. He did the UFC to make money and maybe to be famous. He never had any background training in martial arts, nothing. He started MMA training when he was an adult, in like his early 20s. Like, you have to give him a lot of fucking credit for actually fighting like in a cage against other men who've been training in mixed martial arts or martial arts for years and years and years. Whoa, that's scary. That is scary. Honestly, wow. Come on, let's go.
And an official record of 8-1 at that point, Schaub appeared on the cusp of title contention. UFC brass even discussed booking him against former champion Frank Mir next, though that fight did not materialize.
Frank Mir.
Thank God.
That's still the plan in your mind? Yeah, I think that'd be a good fight for me.
I beat the vets, but then once I got the real upper echelon, once I got to the top 10, then that's when I started to struggle.
After the Cro Cop fight, Brendan Schaub had completely broken his nose and needed surgery to repair it. Following the procedure, doctors prescribed him OxyContin for the pain. Schaub later revealed that he became dependent on the medication and struggled to stop taking it.
His nose smashed, and he had to get his nose fixed. They put him on oxys. He took the oxys, got the surgery, his nose was destroyed, and then just keeps taking them. Like long after the healing process, he's fucking taking them all day long. And finally, his friends just came over to his house and took everything away. Dude, you gotta stop. But it was hard.
After eventually overcoming the addiction, Schaub turned his focus back to fighting. Schaub agreed to fight Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira in Nogueira's home country of Brazil at UFC 134. The match with Nogueira proved humbling. Nogueira, seen by some as an underdog due to recent surgeries, surprised Schaub with a powerful combination and knocked him out at 3:09 of the first round.
And always found a way to win.
Big right hand. Schaub's in big trouble. It is all over.
It was Schaub's first UFC stoppage loss.
That's the thing that I hate the most about the UFC. That's what I'm looking at, because I think when I watch the UFC, sometimes I always put myself in the shoes of the fighter. And that's the thing I think I hate about the UFC the most. The levels are so humbling, man. That's the thing I hate about the UFC. The levels are so humbling. You can beat everyone from 15th to 10th. Everyone from 15th to 10th, fight after fight, smoking them. You can smoke them, right? You're a new fighter in the UFC. You can beat 15th to 10th, smoked them, walking through them, making them feel like little children against you. Then the moment you face somebody who's ranked 10th, who's ranked 9th and above, suddenly you look like the amateur. Honestly, man, like, it's so humbling. Suddenly you're from 15th to 10th, you look like John Jones, right? From 15th to 10th, you look like fucking John Jones. You are ragdolling motherfuckers. Then the moment they give you somebody ranked 9th upwards, suddenly you look like the amateur. They do what they want to you. They knock you out, they drag you down, they stuff your takedowns. They do that annoying thing where they just go for loads of fucking submissions and tire you out, smother you. Oh, the UFC is such a humbler, bro. It's such a humbler. You can be a big dog until you meet a bigger dog. And then suddenly, you're fucking fighting the invisible man. Suddenly, you're slumped up against the fucking octagon. Suddenly, you're fucking tapping. Suddenly, you're fucking fainting. It's such a humbling sport, man. Such a humbling sport.
And the beginning of a difficult stretch.
O'Gara has defeated Brendan Schaub in his first fight ever in Brazil.
Everyone's going nuts. What a win for Nogueira.
In April 2012 at UFC 145, Schaub suffered another knockout loss to Ben Rothwell, who caught him with a counterpunch just 70 seconds into the fight. After 2 straight KO defeats, questions arose about Schaub's chin and
So basically, looking back, that Mirko Cro Cop fight really took something off him, innit? That was the beginning. That was the beginning of the end. That Mirko fight was the beginning of the end. That really took a lot out of him, I think. His chin started to go then. He probably got on top of fucking, besides all the fucking sparring, because back in the day, I think Brendan's mentioned it, back in the day, UFC training wasn't as good as it is now. It wasn't advanced, innit? So I think he mentioned before in the past that when he was training in the gym, he would go full contact with fucking Shane Carwin or other heavyweights. It'd be full contact. So there wasn't no light sparring. Like there was like full contact. Like you're fucking going for head. You know what I mean? You're swinging for the fucking fences. You're trying to take someone's head off. You know what I mean? So imagine fighting Shane Carwin and co. Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, and then on fucking fight night, you're fighting a UFC. You know what I mean? Like your chin is already. Like, I mean, your chin is already on the way out. So that Mirko Cro Cop fight really led to him really going downhill, unfortunately. Damn, man, damn.
Future in the division. After the loss to Ben Rothwell in 2012, Schaub began training in California, working with Renair Gracie at Gracie University as he looked to rebuild his career. Here he met comedian Brian Callen.
And I was like, hey man, I moved to LA next week. I don't know anyone. And he was like, oh, here's my number. Hit me up for coffee. Wow. So I moved there. I didn't know anybody. And I text Brian. He texts back way too fast. Or he's like creepy. He's like, sure, where you at? I'll pick you up.
Who invited him to join a new podcast he was starting.
Then he picked me up. He's like, oh, I have a podcast. And he has 17 listeners on it at the time. And me and him got together. We had this weird chemistry.
Schaub quickly took to it, enjoying the conversations and the platform.
It was kind of his baby, but we were the perfect mix because I had this crazy work ethic and I'd make him come on time. I'd make him do it twice a week like a job, and I took it very serious.
Yeah.
So first time you could hear an actual UFC fighter talk about what he's dealing with and stuff like that.
The show grew rapidly, gaining a larger audience and eventually becoming The Fighter and the Kid.
And we started in his garage, and then next thing you know, thing blew up. So I got the first major check.
I got one from the UFC, I got one for podcasting, and I was like,
and the check for being this silly dumbass compared to the check of getting punched in the face,
holy shit,
was way more. I was like, figure it out, dude.
I might be able to do that. And I love doing it. I was the first athlete to have a podcast, first athlete that's still competing to have a podcast, and the first athlete to connect with a real comedian to have a podcast.
Wow.
With his new training in California, Schaub returned to the octagon to face LeVar Johnson. Knowing Johnson's knockout power, Schaub used a wrestling-heavy strategy, repeatedly securing takedowns and neutralizing Johnson. He earned a unanimous decision victory, 30-27 across all scorecards. Though the bout drew boos for lack of stand-up exchanges, the win showed Schaub's strategic evolution.
Oh, again, negativity, man. The fans didn't like him. Boring style. The fans didn't like him. The fans didn't like him.
Later in 2013, Schaub was lined up to face Matt Mitrione, a fighter with a similar background and someone Schaub knew well. After an initial booking fell through due to Mitrione's injury, the two met at UFC 165 in September 2013. In a brilliant display of grappling, Schaub caught Mitrione in the first round with a Darce choke.
He's got a deep Darce here, Mike. Deep. He's out. Hit is all over. Outstanding. Brendan Schaub.
So I lost to Nogueira, former world champion, lost to Ben Rothwell, former world champion. And then they went, all right, let's pull the brakes back a little bit. And then they gave me a guy at my level, LeVar Johnson, Matt Mitrione, starts from the first round.
With 2 wins in a row, Schaub hoped to climb back toward contention. In June 2014, Schaub faced former heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovsky at UFC 174.
Joe, he is now Big Brown Brendan Schaub, not the hybrid.
Brian Callen gave him that nickname. They do the Fighter and the Kid podcast for Fox Sports.
Wow, man. They were getting defined. No wonder they were making so much money back then. No wonder they were making so much money back then. I didn't know that. Rogan was shouting out The Fighter and the Kid live during a UFC broadcast. Shouting out Brian Callen during a UFC broadcast. Fucking hell. And they fumbled it, by the way. They still fumbled it at the end. But think of all the chances. Think of all the opportunities these motherfuckers were given. And they still fumbled.
Fans like it, so he's Big Brown now.
The fight was a slow, cautious bout that ended in a controversial split decision for Arlovski. Schaub felt robbed, but Dana White criticized both fighters, saying the fans were the real losers in a fight he considered lackluster.
Oh, you see? Now we get the genesis of their problem. Now we get the genesis of their problem. Now we get to the root cause of their problem together. Now I'm getting it. Okay, the UFC deal, the Reebok deal pissed off Brendan, right? The Reebok deal the UFC did, it fucked over a lot of fighters and it cut his money. But if you're being honest, if we're being honest, especially back then, not now.
Powerful bunch.
Yeah, big up Asad Aziz, appreciate it. Big up Asad Aziz, appreciate
End of the day, Bappa did well for himself by attaching to Rogan. Impressive how much money he's accumulate while sucking at everything he does.
100%.
I just hope he doesn't crispin while his fan as the CT inevitably gets worse and the money dries out.
Exactly. Honestly, like, I always say, like, I guess that's why I could never be like a unique. I could never be on like a unique level of hating Brendan, really. Because a part of me kind of admires how much he's been able to achieve. You know? People like Unique and people like the people on the homeless cast and on the Reddit, they fucking hate him, right? They just hate him flat out. He can't do no right in their eyes. Fuck Brendan for life. They want to see him down and out. They want to see him lose everything. They want to see him shaking his tink up in the street. They want to see him divorced. They want to see him lose custody of his kids. They fucking hate him, right? Fair. But I come from the angle of like, especially for somebody that's trying to hustle and do my own thing, I know how hard it is to hustle and do your own thing. So I always weirdly, as much as I don't like it, I always weirdly admire people who are better at doing the thing that I can't do, which is what Brendan can do. The kind of networking, licking ass, sucking dick type of thing. I can't do that. I'm just not made for it. But he's made so much money and been so successful off of that. It's just really interesting and funny how he's lost it all, right? But you have to also give him respect for doing that. Cool. Big up Asad Aziz. Great point made there. But going back to what I was going to say, as much as the Reebok deal did fuck over Brendan, which I think was true, he said already before, when the Reebok deal came, or for the uniform and stuff, and the UFC took all the money, it basically cut his income by half in the UFC. That's when he started to seriously consider doing the TFATK full time. But if you remember, back in the day, not so much now, back in the day, this is how Dana was. Dana back in the day would be sitting cage side, like he'd be sitting cage side with a fucking face like thunder. If like the contender, who he didn't probably like, if the contender, let's say there was a title fight, and the contender was more wrestling or jiu-jitsu orientated, and that contender was winning, Dana would be on the side of the fucking octagon. You see him sitting there, ringside, fucking pissed. Sorry, cage side, fucking pissed off that the fucking contender's winning. And if the contender won, sometimes he wouldn't even come into the ring. He wouldn't even come to the octagon. Or if he did come into the octagon, he'll put the belt around the contender and walk off all angry and pissed off. That was the era when he would openly call out fighters for not swinging, for not going for it. I think that was also the era where the fight bonus was introduced to encourage fighters to be more risque, to not be risk adverse, to go for the fucking headshot, to kind of, you know what I mean, to go for the knockout. So, this is the reason why he started to hate Brendan. This is why they fell out. This is the beginning. This is like the start, the embers of why they fell out. The genesis of why they fell out was because Dana wasn't happy with Brendan's more wrestling orientated approach. Because if you remember, after he got knocked out by Nogueira, he switched his style. That's what I'm noticing in this look back. After he got knocked out by Nogueira, I guess he got scared, like most fighters do, I imagine. Once you get knocked out, it kind of affects how you fight. And he didn't want to get knocked out again because he didn't want to get cut. So in order to not get cut, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to wrestling. I'm going to focus, because if you think about it too, I don't know if this is true. I'm talking about my ass here, right? I'm talking about my ass here like I always do. I don't know if this is true, but I would assume most fighters in the heavyweight division aren't wrestlers. I would assume that. I would assume most heavyweight fighters are strikers. They're going for the headshot. They're not wrestling orientated. So he probably thought the best chance he has to keep himself in the UFC and not get cut is to switch to a wrestling approach so he can just take people down and not have to contend, because obviously he thought his striking wasn't at a particular level. So let me just focus on my strengths, which is wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and then win that way. But obviously, if you're Dana and you're trying to organize fights and you want these heavyweights to swing and bang, and one guy's just wrestling, it's gonna make for a boring fight. And back then as well, UFC fans were super toxic. They're not as toxic now, but back in the day, they'd be booing loudly if there was no striking for like a minute. You know what I mean? They don't want to see no grappling. They don't want to see no fucking underhooks against the cage. They want everyone to be in the middle, just swinging. So that's what happened. I think that was the beginning of the hate. That is why Dana actually started to hate Brendan, because he wasn't fighting like on the front foot. He wasn't striking, he was just wrestling more. Now I get it.
Schaub Arlovsky, very controversial. Do you think the judges got it right?
Was it controversial?
I think Schaub won that fight.
I think everybody would agree that fight sucked. That fight was horrible. You know who lost that fight? The fans. The fans lost in that fight. I made a big mistake putting that on the main card. That should have been in the prelims. For Schaub to walk around thinking he got robbed is hysterical.
Wow. Strong words, bro. Yeah, this is definitely when Dana started to hate Brendan. This is definitely when Dana started to hate him. This is definitely when he started to hate him. Maybe other stuff happened in the background I don't know about. Maybe other stuff happened behind the scenes. But I can tell this is exactly when Dana started to hate Brendan. This is the moment where the hate started. Mostly because of Brendan's performance. He won't mention that, by the way. He won't mention that. But it does seem like Brendan's performance is what started to irritate Dana.
Neither one of them threw any punches in the first 2 rounds, and Schaub's face still looked like he got hit with a baseball bat. And for him to think that he was robbed tonight is absolute comedy.
This public scolding highlighted growing friction between Schaub and White.
When you get a heavyweight fight, if someone's not getting knocked out.
Yo, big up Asada Aziz. I don't know. DC, Kane, Brock Lesnar, Randy Couture, but they're all strike, brother. I know they can all wrestle, but in the heavyweight division, there's not a lot of fighters that only wrestle. You know? Plus, you have to get close to the person. Wrestling's kind of hard anyway, because you have to get close to the person. And to get close to them, you're going to have to get hit. There's not a lot of, I can't think of a lot of like wrestling only wrestlers. No, sorry, wrestling only fighters. Most of them also have decent striking. Like fucking Daniel Cormier legendarily caught fucking John Jones with some pretty impressive strikes. So I'm pretty sure that's probably why he probably fell out of favor with Dana, because a lot of wrestlers in their roster, a lot of fighters in their roster go with a more striking heavy approach and less wrestling. Or if they are doing wrestling, it's kind of, picking you up shit. It's like what Daniel Cormier do. It's a bit more entertaining than what Brendan was basically doing, which is just stuffing you down, taking you down, smothering you. Daniel Cormier is picking you up with one leg, tossing you on the ground. I mean, it's a bit more dynamic, let's say.
He's not happy. If someone's not getting put to sleep, he's not happy.
Around this time, Brendan Schaub was also dating rising star Ronda Rousey, though the relationship ended a few months later due to personal issues.
Personal issues that Brendan couldn't handle being number 2. That's the personal issues, isn't it? He basically made the assertion that Ronda Rousey couldn't handle like being with a man. But I just think he couldn't handle being number 2. That's my theory. He made it seem like Ronda Rousey needed like a beta male, right? That's what he made it seem like. He made it seem like Ronda Rousey needed a beta male. She needed some cuck to be with him. But I just don't think he can handle being number 2. Because Ronda Rousey at that time was famous. She still is, boy. But she was the face of the UFC. She was huge. She was fucking huge then. So for Brendan, who's already got a bit of an ego on him, right? He's already a bit delusional. He's always been delusional. He's always been very egotistical. He probably could not handle being with Ronda at that time, because she was fucking famous. Famous and loved. That's also, yeah, people forget that. She's not as loved now because, she kind of fell out of the UFC and said something about the fans, but she was famous and beloved. Beloved and respected. People loved and respected her. So I don't think he can handle playing the second fiddle. Especially in that, you see it in that video with the catwalk. Sorry, that premiere of that red carpet. There's a full video of it, and you see it when they approach the red carpet. They take the couple pictures, and Brendan stays for too long. And I think the photographer told him to get the fuck out of it. Like, go away. You've done your couple. Like, go away. You want Ronda now? And he kind of walks away and looks a bit upset. There's a full. Maybe I'll try and find it. There's a full video of that red carpet incident where he gets told to like move so they could take pictures of Ronda, and he doesn't look too happy about it. He doesn't look too happy. Yeah, he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle being with Ronda, man. She was too big of a star.
Their breakup later became public knowledge.
I'm too much. She needs a guy who's going to take a back seat. That's not me. She also needs a guy who's going to say, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Really?
With Sha.
Why wouldn't you want to take a back seat for Ronda Rousey, though? I don't get it. Why is he acting like that's a good thing? Why is he acting like that's a good thing? Why would you want to take a back seat to Ronda Rousey? If you date fucking Rihanna, you're taking a back seat to Rihanna. If you date fucking Beyonce, you're taking a back seat to fucking Beyonce. Why would you want to take a back seat to Ronda Rousey? I would. Gladly, bro. Gladly take a back seat. Gladly. Why wouldn't you want to take a back seat? Like, it's fucking great. Like, come on, man. She yes, ma'am. Yes, like, come on. Come on.
Schaub openly discussing why the relationship ended.
And when I went, I don't think that's a good idea. Now I'm a hater. Ronda's about as friendly as a rattlesnake. Okay?
At the same time, he had a fight scheduled against Travis Brown,
There's a reason everyone's talking about this fight on the card.
who would later join Rousey's camp and eventually become her partner. On December 6th,
I'm not gonna lie. This was probably, in my opinion, I think this was the first fight of his I watched. I remember, because back then I used to actually, that's the guy who said, I remember this guy. He was a boxing guy, innit? That was his former trainer. I forgot his name. That was a boxing guy. He came on TFATK before as well. I think he's got a brother. I think they're British as well. I'm pretty sure they're British, but they're from up north somewhere. Maybe Liverpool. He was a boxing trainer for Brendan, or striking trainer. This was the first fight, because I remember I used to be a fan of TFATK back then, right, in Fox. I know. Don't judge me, but I was a former fan. I think that's why I can't really hate the level of Unique or the level of the homeless cats on the Reddit. I can't really hate at that level, because I started off as a fan. And I think this is the first fight I remember watching. This is the first fight of Brendan I actually watched. And I remember I was just silent with my hand over my mouth. Because the way Travis Brown was fucking beating the brakes off of Brendan was just, I didn't have nothing to say. I was just like, oh my God, he's getting, I was like, this is so embarrassing. Ronda Rousey's new man is fucking him up. This must be so humbling. And before the fight, he was talking so much shit about Ronda. Before the fight, he was talking so much shit, insinuating about their relationship. He was being such a dickhead. Obviously, he was doing it partly to kind of promote the fight. I get it. But he was being such a cunt. He was saying so many nasty things about Ronda. And then when the fight came, Travis Brown beat the brakes off him, bro. Honestly, it was so brutal. It was so brutal, man. I was just like covering him. I was just like, oh no. And then, especially towards the end, when he got him on his belly. And he started bang on the back of the head. I was like, Brendan, get up, Brendan, get up. Get up, Brendan. You're just getting pumped. Oh, Travis Brown beat the brakes off of him, bro. That must have been one of the most humbling fights. If you're Brendan, that had to be one of the most humbling fights ever. Had to be. There's no way you can't be humbled after a fight like that. Oh my God, man. Anyway, let's play.
2014, Schaub fought Travis Brown at UFC 181. Brown dominated and finished Schaub by TKO at 4:50 of round 1. Days later, friend.
Look at the pivot. I didn't notice the pivot. You see the pivot, the left hook, pivot shot. Look how he's got him on the ground, and he was talking to him the whole time. And when it finished, he whispered, "No, what's the people say? Allegedly, when the referee pulled him off of him, he quickly leaned over to Brendan's ear and said, Ronda says hi. Allegedly, that's what they say. He never admitted it because Travis Brown's a class act, right? Travis Brown's a class act. He's a very quiet, chill dude. He never admitted it. He never said anything bad about, even after the fight, by the way. Even after the fight, he never said anything bad about Brendan. He really went the kind of respectful way. He was like a proper gentleman. But allegedly, people say that he whispered into his ear, Ronda said hi. Honestly, brutal. But look at the left hook uppercut. I missed that. Look at the left hook uppercut.
Brown dominated and finished Schaub by TKO.
Look at the left hook. Look at the movement. Look at the timing.
4:50 of round 1.
Left hook. Boom. Move that way. Ooh. I didn't notice that when it happened. He saw him. He saw what he was going for. Brendan was going for the overhand left and then go for a takedown. He read him like a book, bro. He saw what he was trying to do. Go for an overhand right, overhand left hook, a left overhand, sorry, and then he tried to probably go for a single leg. He read that like a book. Lean back, met him with an uppercut, boom, move to the left. Oh, that was smooth. Fucking hell, Travis Brown, bro.
Brown at UFC 181. Brown dominated and finished Schaub by TKO at 4:50 of round 1. Days later, friend Joe Rogan invited Schaub onto a podcast and delivered a blunt intervention, telling Schaub he wasn't elite and should consider retiring due to brain damage risks. Schaub was emotional, and the moment went viral in MMA circles.
Terrible. Worst podcast we've ever done for me.
Yeah, but an important one, Brendan.
I don't know if we should have recorded this. You know what I'm saying?
If you wanted to do it, you said before the podcast you wanted to do it and you wanted to air it live. You told me that.
This is true. Yeah, I know.
Did you think we weren't going to be honest about our concerns?
No.
This is definitely not my idea to tell you this on the air. You wanted to do this. There is no...
Of course, Brendan always looking for the views, always looking for the fame, and then when it happened, he kind of regretted it, I guess. But Brendan, Rogan was right. Rogan was right, especially because they were becoming friends. They were developing that friendship. Rogan did him a favor. Rogan did really do him a favor. Rogan really did do him a favor. Rogan, actually, hold on one second. I got a switch on my camera. My camera working there properly? Okay. Rogan really did do him a favor. Rogan really did do him a favor. Rogan really did do him a favor. Really, really did.
Other way to tell someone that you're concerned than to say it with brutal honesty.
The plan was to beat Travis Brown and then try and talk my way into a title fight, or at least a title eliminator after, if Dos Santos beat Stipe. That was the plan. We didn't have a plan if we lost this fight.
You're a smart dude, and the problem with smart dudes is smart dudes think about variables. You think about the future, you also think about brain damage. We all know fighters that are fucking gone. The reality of your skill set, where you at now, I don't see you beating the elite guys. Potential world beaters, guys who can fight at the elite level, guys who can fight for a world title. I would not say that you're there.
the face he makes is funny.
Brain damage. We all know fighters that are fucking gone.
To be fair, let's be honest, man. I think, say what you want about Rogan nowadays, but we all do need a friend like that. You know, we all probably do need a friend like that. We all probably would prefer to have a friend. But that's a problem, though. Sometimes I think you can only do it when you're Rogan. I'm taking it back now. I think you can only do it when you're rich. When you're rich and you're Rogan, you can do it. I think if you do this in your regular life, you could lose your friend. That's the problem. If you dare tell your friend that he's with the wrong girl, he might never talk to you again. Even though you're right. If you tell your friend he's with the wrong girl, you should break up with her, he might never talk to you again. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very, if anything, if your friend, actually, I'll take it back. We can't do what Rogan did. What we have to do with regular people, we have to be there for our friend and pick up the pieces when it inevitably goes wrong. That's what we have to do. That's your role as a friend. Your role as a friend is not to give brutal honesty, because brutal honesty may lead to the end of your friendship. If you love that friendship, you should just, don't be brutally honest. You should instead wait to pick up the pieces when it inevitably goes wrong. And then you can say, I told you so. But don't say before.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Assad.
Brendan, how does this fight game end? I want to show you this video called Dad KO's Son. It's the saddest video on the internet. Joe Rogan, victim of clickbait.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Big up Assad. Big up Assad.
The reality of your skill set, where you at now, I don't see you beating the elite guys. Potential world beaters.
Yo, big up, get see.
So get in there after they break up?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Basically, yes. Yes. Basically, yes. Basically, yes. Yes,
Powerful
basically.
bunch.
Hey, yo, big up Young Gold Vibes. So you're becoming a member. Big up Young Gold Vibes. Thank you for becoming a member. Big up Young Gold Vibes. Let me add you to the list. Queen. Let me add you to the list. Big up Young Gold Vibes for becoming a member. Big up. We're slowly crawling up there. Big up everybody tuning in. Remember, this show's going to be members only afterwards. If you want to watch it on the after, I'm going to add timestamps too, right? As soon as I finish, I'm going to add timestamps. As soon as I finish, I'm going to add timestamps, right? So make sure, if you want to watch this after, that you become a member. Only members can watch the live streams from Monday to Friday. Streams on Saturday, Sunday are free for all. But if you want to watch the live stream back, you have to be a member on here. So click the link in the description, become a member, give the membership. Let's hit the 500 target. Let's hit the 500 member target. Let's fucking go. But yeah, I was just thinking about honesty. Because no one takes honesty well, innit? Like, who, big up people in the stream chat, who in your life is brutally honest with you? For me, oddly enough, as pathetic as it may sound, for me, the only people who I get brutal honesty from is myself. I'm not gonna lie. I think one of my skills is that I'm very, very, very self-aware. And I'm always bluntly honest with myself. So I think I am the only person that gives myself the brutal truth. I think everyone else doesn't. Even my parents, they don't. You know? There's a lot of like coddling sometimes. I don't really have many friends, so I leave it. But the only person I get brutal honesty is truth for myself. Or maybe you guys sometimes. If I say something, maybe you guys sometimes give it to me. But in my life in general, the person that I rely on the most for brutal honesty is myself. What do you say in the stream chat? Who gives you brutal honesty? Wife or mother? Gamebred. Occasionally my daughter, yeah. Kids can be brutal. I've seen the compilations on the internet. Kids can be brutal to a fault. Kids can be brutal to a fucking fault. The little fucking devil, like, I fucking birthed you, motherfucker. I'm responsible for whether or not you're alive or dead. Have some respect, but kids are fucking brutal. Okay, keep it. Father says, Mashi, gotta keep it real. Align to yourself. Yeah, but that's people. A lot of people do it. Tim's tile. A lot of people do it, my friend. Radical self-awareness and honesty to yourself is really rare. You're saying it like it's normal, but it's not. I've been doing this stream a long time. Is like delusion is fucking real out here. Very self-aware, says the man wearing a clout glasses and a bonnet. Touche, Assad. Touche. Big up Pity. Yeah, chat gives it to you. Yeah, sure, chat gives it to me. But I think I'm brutal myself, to be honest. Big up Josie myself. I mean, even with myself, exactly. I feel you on the self-editing. It says unfathomable. Wrestling is kids are great when keep you humble. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Josie. Kirimaru. Girls can be brutal. I'm Tim Okazi, just like, oh, Tim Okazi. Okay, big up Tim Okazi. Big up Timo. LOL. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So parents and family, but for me, it's myself. Me, myself, and I as I'm my biggest fan. I am my biggest fan, and I'm also my biggest hater. That's the thing. I am my biggest fan, and I'm also my biggest fucking hater.
Problem with smart dudes is smart dudes think about variables. You think about the future, you also think about brain damage. We all know fighters that are fucking gone. The reality of your skill set, where you at now, I don't see you beating the elite guys. Potential world beaters, guys who can fight at the elite level, guys who can fight for a world title. I would not say that you're there. This sucks for you. It's hard to hear. I don't see you beating Cain Velasquez. I don't see you beating Junior Dos Santos. I don't see you beating Fabricio Verdum. There's shit that other...
Thank God he didn't face those people, man. Thank God he didn't face fucking JDS or Kane. Thank God he didn't have to face Junior Dos Santos or Kane. Thank God. Thank God. Could you imagine what would have happened to Brendan if he had to face Cain Velasquez back then? Could you imagine what would have happened to Brendan if he had to face Cain Velasquez back then? Que asco. Que asco. Could you imagine what would have happened to him, man? Thank God.
That people can do that you can't do. If you had a wrestling match with Cain Velasquez, how well do you think you'd do?
I think people would be surprised.
Really? You think so? I think you'd be surprised. I think he'd fuck you up. There's a bridge between you and the very best guys in the world. And I don't know if you can cross that bridge. That's the reality of life.
That's probably the worst show I've ever done.
On December 2nd, 2014, the UFC announced a 6-year exclusive apparel partnership with Reebok. The deal took effect on July 6th, 2015, requiring fighters to wear Reebok.
Like, imagine Verdum, actually. Imagine Verdum against Brendan. Was Verdum the one where he slept the guy in a weird way? And what's that fight where Verdum had where he came out and just did a flying kick? Do you remember that fight Verdum did? I think is it the first round? The bell rings, he just came out like, rah! Flying kick. Who did that to? Do you remember that? Back in the day? Like, I don't know how big he is, like 6 foot, whatever, 200 pound plus. Flying fucking kick. That is, fuck that. Fuck that, bro. Fuck that. He can do that. He can jiu-jitsu. He can fucking wrestle you. He can fucking put you to sleep. Fuck that. Fuck that. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Gear and removing their ability to display independent sponsors inside the octagon. The change
was it against Chavez? Exactly, see? People in the stream chat, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know it was against Travis Brown. I didn't even know. I swear on my life, I didn't even remember it was against Travis Brown. Travis Brown, the guy that made Brendan look like a child, got flying kicked by fucking Badoom. If Badoom could do that to Travis Brown, and Travis Brown did what he did to Brendan, imagine what Badoom would have done to fucking Brendan then. Come on, man. Thank God he didn't have to fight him. Thank God. Thank God. Oh my God. Thank God.
Well, with Brendan Schaub, who had reportedly been earning over $100,000 per fight from sponsorship deals alone.
Yeah.
Under the new Reebok pay structure, most fighters were earning only a few $1,000s per bout, depending on their number of UFC fights. A significant drop from what many had previously made through private sponsors. Schaub publicly said the deal had cost him tens of thousands of dollars in lost sponsorship income. Dana White pushed back on the claim, stating that Schaub was not making the numbers he was saying.
Brendan Schaub is claiming he makes over $100,000 a fight with sponsorship. These are some of his sponsors: Big Rentals Construction Company, KeepItPlayful.com, The Rain Training Center, Box and Burn Gym, Alchemist Management. This is true. This is no joke. No Ho Hangover. I'm sure this guy's making over $100,000 a fight.
Wow. Yo, Dana really hated Brendan, didn't it? The hate that Dana had for Brendan was specific and intense and deep. Brendan was never even a high, like, I kind of understood Dana's hate for the guys on the upper echelons, the top 10 guys, because you had to communicate with them a lot. They're like people that you got, they're fighting all the time, they're in tight contentions. Brendan was just a regular fighter, but Dana really paid attention to him. He really. But do you think Dana's telling the truth there? Do you think Brendan was lying about the money the whole time? Wow. So Brendan maybe was making some money from sponsorship, right? Good money, extra money. But he said he was making 100 grand. To be fair, you know what I'm also thinking, by the way? Did the UFC take the Reebok deal in part to spite people like Brendan who were making so much money on their own anyway? And they were average. Was that possible? Did the UFC did Dana maybe have Brendan in mind when he accepted the Reebok deal because they didn't like that average fighters like Brendan, average fighters like Brendan were able to like clog up the roster while also being like making a lot of money, not being comfortable type, by the way, kind of thing. I don't know if what I'm saying is right. I don't know if I'm articulating in the right way, but I wonder if fighters of Brendan's level being able to make 100 grand plus in a year because of sponsors, it led to the UFC deciding to rein all the money in for themselves and then to make the fighters fight for their money. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I wonder if back in the day, the UFC had a problem with fighters of Brendan's level who weren't the top level ones making really good money, but clogging up the roster and then preventing the UFC from making that money because they're making it directly. So the UFC is like, no, we're going to make all the sponsor money and then we're going to divvy out to you guys, but it's going to be chump change, which is going to make you guys have to fight more for your supper, which is then going to make you guys go for the knockout. That could be true. Brendan's big mouth. There's a possibility that Brendan's big mouth bragging about how much he was making may have led inadvertently to the Reebok deal. It's a bit of a reach. It's a bit of an Odell Beckham reach. It's a bit of a fucking Odell Beckham reach. But there's a possibility that Brendan could have played a role in the interest of the fucking Reebok deal because he was yapping away too much and bragging too much about how much money he was making.
You know, I love Dana. He's been my friend for a long fucking time, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be working for the UFC. But I know you're not a liar. So when he did that interview the other day and he called you a liar, I was like, this is a very unfortunate rift between you two that I hate. You gave me a list of all your sponsors and what you actually got paid. That settles the argument. Why don't you just release that?
Because I don't want to. It's not about that. I don't want to get into this pissing contest with Dana.
Too late. He pissed on you.
Well,
I saw him on that Landsberg show. He basically pulled his dick out and peed all over you.
I agree, but so what am I going to do?
I agree. He pissed on me. By the way, I agree he pissed on me. He's crazy. And also, to be fair, in this scenario, Dana's a bad guy. As much as I don't like Brendan, as much as we like to laugh at Brendan on this stream, let's be fair. Dana's the bad guy. Dana's the bad person in this scenario. Dana's the piece of shit in this scenario. He's a piece of shit. Being that spiteful to cut off everyone's money because you didn't like the fighters making their own money, and then you divvy out the money yourself and pay them a pittance is fucking spiteful. I've always said, I don't mind the UFC not paying the fighters well. I'd have a problem with that, in a way. If they would allow them to make money on the sponsors. Just give the fighters one leg of their shorts. Just give the fighters one leg of their shorts, one rectangular section on one leg, on one half of their shorts, and let them have as many sponsors as they want. They can fit in that fucking square. They can make extra money on. So if you're going to pay them 30 grand a fight, they can make however many sponsors they can fit into that box as a makeup, the difference. But they don't. That's so unfair. Like, that's so fucking unfair. Now you fighters have to fight 7 times a year, 4 times a year to make a basic fucking salary. But then the more you fight, the more susceptible you are to lose and get knocked out. And if you get lose and knocked out too often, you get cut from the UFC. And your boss, your fucking boss coming on TV, calling you out, calling you a liar, mocking you, insulting you, ain't gonna help anything. That's gonna make the fans turn against you. That's gonna make the media turn against you. Like, honestly, Dana's definitely the bad guy in this scenario. He's definitely the bad guy in this scenario. He treated Brendan like fucking dirt. All because Brendan wanted to, like, not swing and bang. Because he got knocked out too many times. Brendan got knocked out too many times. Didn't want to swing and bang. Wanting to save his job, naturally, right? Didn't want to lose his job. So he reverted to a more wrestling forward, jiu-jitsu heavy style to basically save his job. And Dana got pissed off about that. And from then, they've been fucking mutual enemies. Nah, Dana's a bad guy, man. But, Joe said Brendan sent him a list of the sponsors that he's got and how much he gets. He didn't say he sent him proof though, did he? Brendan sent Rogan a list of sponsors with a number that each sponsor pays him. But he never sent Joe Rogan proof. So maybe Dana was right. Because if you are getting 100 grand, if that was me, especially Brendan, how he is, right? If that was me and Dana said I lied, I would have just posted the fucking screenshots of the payments on fucking Instagram. Fuck it. Boom, 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 boom. Each person, each account. That totals to $100,003.77. I would have done that. But the fact that Brendan never provided proof leads me to believe that maybe Dana wasn't lying there.
Go to war with Dana over this? First thing first, I'm Team UFC, man. I wouldn't have this platform, I wouldn't have this fame, or I wouldn't be able to make money that I'm doing now if it wasn't for Dana White and the UFC. So I'm not anti-UFC in the least bit. Because I don't know the overall plan of this Reebok deal. So if it helps the majority of fighters, I'm on board, man.
By late 2015, after multiple KO losses and rising outside interests, Schaub announced his retirement from MMA competition. At age 32, he retired with a professional record of 10-5. Schaub admitted he wasn't in love with fighting.
Not bad, isn't it? Not bad. But I hope they can, because at this point, it's not bad. Yes, he has his feud with Dana White. Yes, some of the fans in UFC aren't big fans of him. Maybe because of his style. Maybe because of stuff that he did when he was in Tough. Right? Maybe because of stuff that he did. Maybe because of how he talked about fucking Kimbo Slice. But not bad. 10-5, not bad. Not the best, but not bad. He got out at the right time. He got out just before the real heavyweight monsters started to flood their fucking heavyweights, right? Heavyweight division. So I really want to see what actually, according to this person, what do they think led to the UFC, or what does the title say? What actually led to the UFC turning on him, actually. Because it still doesn't make sense why he's so hated. Like, Dana still hates him to this day. A lot of fighters in the UFC kind of mock him openly. So I would love to know, like, what actually led to that level of hate.
Anymore, and that Rogan's tough advice, along with concerns about long-term health, pushed him to pursue new avenues. Schaub transitioned quickly into entertainment. By 2014, The Fighter and the Kid had grown rapidly and was picked up for distribution by Fox Sports, giving the podcast a much wider audience. Around this time, Schaub also began...
Yo, big up, who is this? Big up, Pity K. Big up Timo Kazi, short career. Pity K says, most of the wins were against cans. Am I the only person that thinks most people don't care about the wins of the performance, who they are? I think most casuals or most people that just like look at people's career at a glance, you don't really hyper analyze. You don't really focus in or dig a bit deeper to find out what type of level of opponent someone fought. I don't think they do for most fighters. I think for maybe champions it matters, but I don't think for most fighters it really matters what level of the level of quality the fighter was or wasn't. Am I bugging out? I think that analysis is only reserved for really champions. You know? Or maybe I'm bugging. I don't necessarily, when I think of Brendan's career, I don't really necessarily think about, the level of opponent that he beat. I say, okay, cool. You got 10-5, decent. Not the best, but decent. You know? Or am I bugging out? What do you guys think? No, your bugging says crack. Fair enough. No, 10-5 wasn't bad, but definitely isn't good. Okay, cool. That's a more. I love how the crack said that in a rude way. No, you're bugging, and casual said it in a kinder way. Okay, I love the juxtaposition. There's a PC way. There's a blunt way. Probably made more money than all of the fighters in his generation. Though, yeah, exactly. That's very true. For sure, he definitely made money, especially back then. Think how much money TFATK was making back then, motherfuckers. Think how much money TFATK was making back in the Fox day when Rogan was shouting at TFATK on fucking UFC broadcast. Woo! They were making so much money back then, bro. Probably made more. Luckily, with support from Rogan. Most of the wins were canned. Yeah, cool.
Pursuing stand-up comedy. On August 10th, 2016, he performed his first solo stand-up set at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, officially launching his comedy career. Later that year, in December 2016, Schaub expanded his media presence by launching a second podcast called Big Brown Breakdown, focused primarily on MMA analysis and interviews.
I decided to do a UFC Big Brown Breakdown.
In August 2017, Schaub appeared as an analyst during Showtime's coverage of the highly anticipated Mayweather versus...
The amount of jobs. Look, I love how, by the way, that's a horrible screen guard, by the way. He's so not involved in the conversation, isn't it? He's so left out. Even the gap between them is very telling. But the amount of gigs, the amount of broadcasting gigs. Oh my God, man. The amount of fucking gigs. Yo, big up My Nuts. Big up My Nuts. I appreciate it, bro. Big up My Nuts. Thank you for the love. Big up My Nuts. The amount of exactly that. Game Bread. Think in your life, Mr. Gamebread. Think of your life and others in the stream chat. Think of your life. Have you even had 5% of the luck Brendan's had in life? I don't think so. Maybe outside of being born and not dying soon or not dying early, have any of you had the amount of luck that Brendan's had in his post-UFC career? Being friends with Rogan, the amount of opportunities he was given. Broadcasting, presenting, fucking Bravo, red carpet, like so many opportunities squandered. Comedy career given to him on a platter, a comedy career on a fucking platter, a podcast. Like, God almighty, man. The amount of things that he's just squandered is crazy, man. Crazy. Oh my God. I would die for 5%. 1% of the luck that Brendan has got in life. I would die for 1% of it. 1% of the luck. 1%. God damn.
Mayweather versus McGregor boxing event. The event also produced a viral backstage.
Yeah, big up Black American. Big up, yeah. I'm still alive. 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 I'm still
moment when Nate Diaz confronted Schaub, arguing over Schaub's comments about Conor McGregor's performance in the fight.
Everybody keeps saying that you didn't tell the truth about your interaction with Nate Diaz.
So I see Nate, and it's like, oh, UFC alumni. Yeah. I go to say what's up. You know, he's a spicy dude. So he didn't like that I was pro Conor the whole time. That was my job, is to be the MMA expert. And so
it wasn't your job. It wasn't your job. You just love Conor. Again, I love the lies. At that time, like, I don't see anything wrong with being a Conor nut hugger. I think we all were. I look at some of the old clips of fucking Conor. I look at some of the old interviews, some of the old fight. Like, I don't think there'll ever be another time where we have a superstar of that level in the UFC. I don't think so. Do you guys think so? I don't think so. We were all in love with Conor. We were all obsessed. I think I used to watch every single interview of his when it dropped. Every interview. Every fucking interview in fucking full. We were all obsessed with watching him. Watching his journey. Watching his fights. So I don't know why you can't just admit, yeah, at that time I was a fucking Conor stan. I was a Conor nut hugger. And I let my fandom delude me thinking he was going to win. Brendan was so pro Conor. There was a time where he maybe could convince me that Conor would win that fight against Floyd. But he can't admit it. Just admit you said you love Conor like that. Oh, the Showtime paid me. Showtime told me to do this. It was my job. No, bro. You actually legitimately thought Conor could beat Floyd in a boxing fight. Some of us actually did. Maybe me. I mean, we all kind of thought, yeah, there's a chance he could show. He showed Floyd another stance he hadn't seen and all this nonsense. And then when the fight played out, it played out how most. I think the only people that got that fight right were the boxing fans. I don't think UFC fans got that fight right. I think every person I remember that called that fight were people that know boxing. Every UFC fan was deluded and blinded by Conor's greatness and thinking, oh yeah, Conor's gonna translate this in the octagon to in the ring with a box. I mean, we all thought the same thing because of the knockouts and all this stuff, the striking power, the stances. But every boxing fan, I think to a T, said it might be entertaining, but Floyd's gonna win. There's no chance Conor wins. I don't think any boxing fan said he was. I don't think any boxing expert said it. To be fair.
Tell people on Conor beating Floyd. That's what I was paid to do.
I see.
Do I believe all of it? No. That was my job. He thought it was real. Because he goes, you're wrong, you don't know boxing. And then I went, he won rounds, and we're going back and forth. And I go, I think you're off on that. Steven Espinoza and my boss, Brian Daly, were like, if you get in any altercation, you're fired. And I was like, all right, man. And then we just walked off.
In 2024, Brendan spoke emotionally about his longtime friend and training partner, Shane Carwin, and the health struggles he's facing.
All because of Shane. He's like a brother, man. Love that dude to death. You can't even keep a job, dude. Shane's in the thick of it, man. There's nothing we can do.
That was so... That's why people hate Brendan, man. That's why people hate Brendan. Immediately, I wonder, I wonder what made all the UFC fans turn against Brendan. I wonder why people hate Brendan. And then they play a clip of Brendan going out of his way without any encouragement, just mentioning and divulging all of fucking Shane's fucking medical issues and personal things that no one knew outside of the UFC. I'm sorry, nobody knew outside of his friendship circle. So if you're not in the scenes, if you're not plugged in, you wouldn't know this. You wouldn't know this if you weren't closely associated with Shane Carwin. Nobody knew that he was struggling to keep a job, that he was going through some health. Nobody knew this. And he brought it to the public to like feign sympathy, right? I think they call it, what they call it? Is it sympathy trolling? There's a term for it, I think, in locales. There's a term they use. I think it's sympathy trolling or something. Like, fucking hell, why would you do this to a friend? It's like revealing to the public that you lent your friend some money. No one does that. If that's your real friend and they want to borrow some money, you just give them the money, no questions asked. You don't mention it again. You don't say, you don't say in front of your other friends, oh, this fucking guy spending all the money. Where's my money? You don't do that to a friend. You keep that to yourself. Do you know what I mean? You guys keep that to between each other. Fucking hell, this guy, man, he can't even keep a job. I'm so sad for Shane. Why are you telling us this for? Tell him directly. Help him if you can directly. Why are you telling us the public for? What a shitty friend.
Including concerns around CTE. During the discussion, Schaub became visibly emotional.
I face serious challenges in meeting basic everyday expenses for food, shelter.
Shortly afterward, Nate Diaz responded on social media, posting a message mocking him.
Put Brendan the big old pussy Schaub with a crying emoji. And most people tell me that it's in response to me getting emotional over my friend of 20 years, who I owe most of my UFC career to. He's experiencing some of the worst side effects of dedicating his life to mixed martial arts. So me getting emotional about that, I guess that makes me a big old pussy?
Diaz's post struck a nerve. Schaub fired back with an emotional rant, accusing Diaz of being fake and questioning the authenticity.
You know what, right? As much as I want to say Nate Diaz was wrong, I think Brendan crying away did also go to prove why he was never going to be a UFC champion, innit? He's probably a little bit too soft in the middle, really. Deep down inside. He may present as a bit of a bully. He may act like a bit of a dick. But deep down inside, he's not a killer, you know? He's not a real killer, a real mean guy, you know? Like, because a lot of those UFC guys, they enjoy fighting, you know? A lot, like, as Mike Perry proved, a lot of those UFC guys enjoy putting beats on people. They enjoy fucking people up. But they just get paid for it, you know? It's a bonus they get paid for it. It's a bonus that's make them, some of them famous. It's a bonus that's led to some of them achieving sporting greatness by winning belts, right? It's a bonus. But they would be beating people up for free, right? If they could. They would be beating people up for free. Brendan is not that guy. Brendan is not going to beat you up for free, you know? He's a nice guy deep down inside. That's why he cried. That's why he was crying about his strange chin. Deep down inside, he's a nice guy, you know? That's why he never really made it in the UFC. I'm seeing now.
Of his persona.
Bud, you've been paid more than 99% of the fighters. Cut the bullshit. Your entire narrative, it's all fake, bud. You're not fooling anybody.
The exchange quickly spread across social media, escalating the feud.
You're not tough to me. I know tough guys. At the end of the day, I will twist your fucking neck off. Only one of us is gonna walk out. Oh,
where's the Diet Coke line? They missed the Diet Coke line. Bring the Diet Coke line, man. Miss the Diet Coke line. Twist your neck off.
At the end of the day, I will twist your fucking neck off. Only one of us is gonna walk out unscathed, and it's me.
In January 2018, Schaub faced controversy after comments made on Big Brown Breakdown about the UFC on Fox broadcast panel. He suggested the network had selected analysts to check diversity boxes, which drew criticism from former UFC fighter Eve Edwards.
We get it, UFC. We get it. We get it.
Schaub later issued a public apology.
Let's see if I can get it. Let's see if I can get the video. Actually, let me check if Ronda Rousey red carpet. Let's see if I can get that one so I can show you what he looked like when he was angry with her on the red carpet. Yeah, I think that's the one, right? Look at Brendan when he's told to move away. Ronda.
Powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Assad.
Yeah, Bop is soft deep down even though he's mean. It's like when you find out the bully kid was being molested. Except in this instance it was Dana molesting Brendan out of his sponsorship money.
What can I say? Big up Assad Aziz. Big up Assad Aziz. What can I say? Big up Assad Aziz. What can I say? Big up Assad. I can't. What can I say? Big up him, man. Big up. Thank you for the donor, brother. Big up. I can't say nothing else. I can't say nothing else. Oh yeah. Look. Watch. Look. He is not happy.
Just show us the front, darling.
Look him. He wants to move along. He wants to move her along, but she's enjoying it. She's getting all the angles. She's doing a little bit of a flirt with the photographers. What did you say? Who called me cute? She's enjoying her moment. She's enjoying her fucking moment. Look at Brendan trying to make her come. Okay, let's go now. Nah, man, you stand to the side. When she's done, she'll be done. You stand to her left. Actually, what you should be doing is standing to her right. So when she's finished, she can come and join you. You don't stand there and block other people coming on the left. You go past her and stand to her right and wait for her there. When she's finished her job, you can get her and you walk in together. But he's trying to push her. He's trying to like, no, come on, let's go. I don't want to stand here awkwardly. You're getting too much attention. I can't play second fiddle. I can't play number two. Let's go. Leave her alone. He's so mad. Look at his face. He's so pissed. Another picture, really? Another picture? My nigga, really? Another fucking picture? Another one? He's so pissed, man. Honestly, this is why you guys broke up. You couldn't play second fiddle. You wanted to be the big star, but she's the big star. She was Connor before Connor. He couldn't take it. He's giving her fucking darts now, by the way. He's giving her now. Look at her face now. Look how her face changed. She was all smiling at look how her face changed. Look at how his mood ruined her mood. Look at how his mood ruined her mood. Look at her face now. She's thinking back ahead. Oh man. Now she's a bit self-conscious and thinking about time. Now she's not enjoying it anymore. You know? Now she's not enjoying it anymore as before. Fucking hell, Brendan. He just started there.
Brandy to your left, Brandy. Brandy, heels together, heels together. Brandy, to your right. Brandy, right here. Mama says you're too close. Brandy, Brandy, right here. Brandy, that beautiful smile. Oh, that one set right there. Brandy, straight.
He is so pissed. He's so pissed. He's so pissed. And then let me see. Brendan Schaub, we get it. Brendan Schaub, we get it. Wait, someone's got that. Someone got that? Someone got that? Yeah, they have. Someone, of course, someone's got that on here.
Like sometimes you look at UFC Tonight and like, all right, is that the best panel possible, or are you just trying to check off the boxes? We like sometimes you look at UFC Tonight and like, all right, is that the best panel possible, or are you just trying to check off the boxes? We get it, UFC Tonight, Fox Show.
Exactly, Josie. I never thought about that. Exactly, Josie. Great point. Exactly. Hold her bag so she looks best in the pit. Exactly. Help her out. Hold her fucking bag, man. God damn. Let her get some cute pictures without holding a bag and like, god damn. Shitty part. Exactly. Shitty partner. He couldn't play number two. He couldn't play number two. That's what you're meant to do. You take a couple pictures together as a couple, right? And then you take the bag. You stand to the right-hand side, you get on your phone, you let her take as many pictures as she wants to fucking take, and then you continue on with your day. Not that big of a deal, bro. Jesus Christ.
You're not racist. We get it. You have an all-black panel. We get it. Whoa, we get it. We get it, man. You know, now I'm going to ask you again, are those the best brains and speakers for the art to the general audience? Like,
well, because they're black. Because they're black, by the way. Because it's an all-black panel, he's questioning whether or not they're the best brains for the business. Honestly, Brendan's casual racism has been there from time. Brendan's casual racism has been there from time. Only question the panel if it's all black. If it's all white, it's okay. If it's an all-white panel, it's okay. When the panel's all black, are they really the best? Are they really the best for the job? Fucking hell, Brendan. Why would you say that, bro? Why would you say that? What a psycho. Let's go to the documentary. Where is the documentary? Let's go back to the documentary. Where is it?
I couldn't even tell you the point I was trying to make. Before that show, me and Brian were talking about something with race and men and women, and somehow that entered my brain, and then, you know, Eves was upset, and then me and Eves text back and forth. Yeah, I meant no offense.
By the way, he lied about this too.
I can't tell you what I was saying, I messed up.
In 2018, Schaub launched...
He lied about that, by the way. He lied about that. He lied about that. He lied about that.
King and the Sting with Theo Vaughn. And after...
Actually, let me see if I can find it. Eves... is it Eve Edwards, right? Brendan Schaub. I think he lied about the actual interaction. He lied about it, didn't he? Eves, yeah, there we go. Eves Edwards calls out Brendan Schaub. What did he say about him again? Let's see if I can find it. What's this bullshit running in mouth? Okay, cool. Not that one. It's another one. He actually lied. Details of this. Yeah, there we go. Details of disagreement. Is that the one? Let's see.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
We a couple weeks ago I saw you at the Comedy Store and you asked me about your boy Brendan.
Yeah.
And like you had asked me about
let's explain the whole thing to people that don't know the story. Brendan said something where he was talking about UFC Tonight, right? It's UFC Tonight?
Yeah. Well, he was talking about
the Fox panel. And he said something about, I get it, Fox, you're not racist. Like saying that you have a bunch of black people on it.
Yeah,
because they're not
black
racist.
Cast.
Yeah.
And because they're not racist. Myself, Tyron, and Karen Bryant were the three that were on the desk that day.
But also a lot of times Rashad, a lot of times
DC.
Yeah.
And so it was like, but are you checking off boxes? Because are these the best brains and the best speakers for the job?
Big up Nav. Big up Nav. Big up Nav. Is AZ the best streamer for the random show? Is the random show just trying to check all the diversity boxes? It's fucking crazy work. Exactly. I would love to be a diversity hire, man. Anything to get me out of the depths of poverty. Anything to get me to ascend from working class to middle class to upper class. Anything to pull me out of my rut. Anything to make me climb up the socioeconomic ladder, I'll take it. If I have to be a diversity hire, if I have to be a DI hire, I would run to it, bro. I would wear the jumper. I'd wear the DEI hoodie, man. I'd wear a DEI hoodie, proud. DEI fucking hat. Let me be your DEI. Let me be your DEI if it means I get government funding. If that means I get government funding and a fat paycheck, let me be your DEI, man. I'm gonna put my fist up every time before I start a stream. I'll be kneeling. Before I start a stream, you just see a chair. You see a chair when I stream at the start because I'm just leaning. I'm leaning with my fist up in the air. I would take being DI every day of the week.
Right. And it was like, and you know, some people see the point that he was trying to make, the point that he claims that he was trying to make. But the thing is, when you start in on this race thing, you're saying effectively that
big up Star Disease, a good white wouldn't fall asleep on stream. Come on, guys. I've fallen asleep in stream in a long time, man. I've been falling asleep on stream in a long fucking time. That's a dead meme. That's a meme from a time gone by. I haven't fallen asleep on stream in many days. Many days.
There's a person or a group of these people are only there because of the color of their skin, right? You could say all of that without the whole "I get it, you're not racist, are you checking off boxes or whatever," right? Because if that doesn't matter to the question or the point that you're trying to make, then why bring it up?
Right.
You know, that's.
I feel like I know Brendan very well. I love him. He's one of my best friends. He's definitely not a racist, but he definitely talks too much.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, like he talks too much. I mean like he says he has too many podcasts and too many things, and you say things, and I'm 100% guilty of this. You say things, and you're like, why did I even say that? And then all of a sudden you're defending it, and then you're caught up in just like a.
Could it also be possible that he's just a racist? I get what he means about you're making content, you're just saying things, but when you say the type of things that Brendan just said in that comment, could it not be deemed that you are possibly saying those things because you are racist and not just because you're just saying things? It could be that as well. It could be that he might just have some racist sensibilities. Because it's been showing for a while. It's been showing for a time. Kimbo Slice walks into the room. Fuck that guy. Not even knowing who he is. Just fuck that guy. This little thing, like he seems to have an issue with the people of the darker skin tone. He seems to have a little bit of an issue.
A wave of just trying to sort out what you're saying without someone being there to say, well, look, here's the thing. Tyron Woodley, UFC welterweight world.
Also, there's a way to say what he said and not be racist. There is a way to question DEI. There's a way to bring up DEI without sounding like a racist. Most people don't though, because I think DEI gives people an excuse to be racist. Let's be real. Most people talk about DEI and how much they hate it because it gives them an excuse to be racist. But there's a way to question that and be like, you know what? I don't really like this initiative. I don't really like this fucking push, this sort of affirmative action, because actually, ironically, it denies other people chances, and you can maybe break it down and say the real problem isn't that we don't have a diversity in races. The real problem is that we don't have a diversity in new voices, in giving opportunity to new people. We have a set establishment. It's a bit of a boys' club. Maybe what we need is to maybe open it up to more people, no matter what color and creed or gender you are, to get involved.
Champion.
Yo, big up.
Just talked too much B.
Yeah. Huh? Hitler just talked too much. It's crazy. I love Hitler. Hitler just talked too much. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. It was a little oopsie whoopsie, innit? Hitler's speeches were just a little oopsie whoopsie. You just got carried away. Everybody knows Hitler just got carried away, innit? Everybody knows good old Adolf just got carried away. He just had too much coffee that day. That's what. Hitler just had too much coffee that day.
Eve Edwards, arguably the best 155er in the world at one point in time, massive veteran of the sport. You can go down the list. Rashad Evans, former light heavyweight champion. I mean, you're talking about top flight champions, former champions, elite mixed martial artists. But you also have Bisping. You also have Paul Felder. You also have
Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Florian. You know, you have they're just elite, top of the food chain fighters and analysts. I think it was a bad path to go down. I don't think it made sense. I think he thought it made sense in his head when he was saying it. I think maybe he was trying to be controversial. Maybe he just, I don't know. You know, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either. But like my thing about it wasn't okay, you're being racist, right? Like it's a thing when you bring race into the situation, right? But my thing wasn't you're racist because you say this. My thing was you're saying that I'm in this position because I'm not good enough.
Right.
You're saying that I'm only here because of affirmative action or whatever you want to call it. You know, there's not a quality.
Fair enough, man. He's a nicer guy than I am, because I would have been offended first by the race comment or the implication or the very implied racism, and I also would have been very upset about the I'm not qualified to do this job. But fair enough to fucking Yves Edwards to get on this. He could have easily called out Brendan and say he's a fucking racist, but he said no, I don't know that to be true. I cannot say that categorically, so I'm not going to put that on him. But I was more offended that he questioned my position, my job. You know what I mean? Yeah, I take, you know, you gotta give this guy a lot of credit, man. He responded in a much more calm, even keeled, mature manner than most people would.
To my work, and that's where I'm like, yeah, fuck that. That's not the case. I know that I'm good at. I know that I'm good at the sport. I understand the sport, and I'm good at explaining what I see.
Brian, who would, you know, the other thing is like, who would replace them? Is there white people?
The Jews will not replace us. The Jews will not. Do you remember that whole thing? What happened to those kids, by the way? Has anyone made a documentary on those kids? Whatever happened to those kids? I'd love a documentary, a follow-up documentary on those tiki torch kids. Whatever happened to those fucking kids? That was so random, innit? But were they wrong though? They were early, innit? They were fucking early though. They were early with the anti-Semitism. They were fucking early. Where were they, man? Where the fuck were they? Where are they now? Where are those guys now?
People that are missing out.
Yeah.
On the gig.
Yeah.
Like who's
everybody went to an audition.
Yeah, who's not getting the job though? Is there like someone who's like, wow, this guy really speaks really well, but they're holding him down because he's white? Has that even happened?
Yeah.
There's some people that probably like that to happen, but I don't think that's actually happened.
Yeah, I agree completely. But so we kind of went through that, you know.
Yeah.
He sent me a message, he apologized about that, and I was like, cool. Like my thing was not about the race thing. My thing was, you said these things and you're either saying somebody or a group of people up there aren't qualified for the job.
You're insinuating that a group of people that you belong to are not qualified to the job.
So that's where I was coming from with it.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was squash. But then he said some other stuff after that. And that's where I'm like, man.
What did he say afterwards?
He was, I forget the guy's name. I remember. Luke Thomas, right? He was on this guy Luke Thomas's show. And he's saying stuff. He's specifically talking about me now. He's like, yeah, I talked to them. We're all friends. I talked to Eve. And he's like, well, see, there's something Eve sees in himself. And I'm just like, man, you're not.
Is that really what he said?
Yeah. Like he said, I feel like that's something Eve sees in himself. He was aggressive and this and that. You know, he said he was emotional and this and that. And I'm like I never said to you I was emotional.
Jesus Christ, Brendan. Jesus Christ, Brendan. Of course, Brendan's like that. When you speak in private to him 1-to-1, he's all fucking apologetic, right? And sorry. The moment he goes on another show and you're not there, he starts chatting shit. Honestly, this is why people hate Brendan, isn't it? Now you can see why it's so easy to hate Brendan. It's really easy. It's actually harder to like him than it is to not, you know? It's harder to like him than it is to hate him. It really is harder. God damn it, Brendan.
None of these things. So
the guy forgave you and then you go and badmouth him on a Luke Thomas show. For good, great, right? The guy gives you all the grace. He forgives you. And you still go mock him on another show.
Like this bus is coming, you're waiting to throw me in front of it or some shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, nah, that's not cool, man. Like, we're not friends. We know each other. The extent of our friendship is like a UFC last summer. I saw Brendan across the aisle and some guy rolled up on him and was talking to him for like 10 minutes. And I'm looking back and I could see Brendan's like,
trapped.
Fuck that. Cause I'm like, let me go try and help him out. So I go over there and I start talking to Brendan and then the dude just hangs out. I talked to Brendan for about 5-10 minutes and then the dude just hanging out behind us and I'm just like, that's all I got, man. I'm going back to my seat. You know?
And the guy jumps
right back in. That's the extent of it. I've seen him at different places beyond that. You know, Brian and I are cool, so I've seen him sometimes when I've seen Brian.
Raw. He's making it clear. I'm friends with Brian. I like Brian. You're not my friend, so chill out. He's making it very clear. You are not my friend, sir. You are not my friend, so chill the fuck out. We do not know each other. I know Brian. Brian Callen's my friend. That's hilarious, man.
But like, we're not boys. We don't know each other like
Right.
that. So, and like and you're not a psychologist. You're not a psychiatrist. So you're not qualified to be speaking on my mental state.
I didn't know that he said that. I feel like now that I'm remembering it, you might have brought that up at the
Yeah.
Comedy Store the other night.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. It doesn't make any. I'm Brendan's friend, and I can't defend him on that because it.
That's the thing, though, man. And this is when this is before Brendan. This is before Rogan used to say stuff like, "Oh, people only hate Brendan because he's tall and he's jacked." Bro, people have been hating Brendan. There's a guy right in front of you who Brendan did something rude to, did something like bad to. Brendan was in the wrong, and look at how you treated him. So that's what I don't get. These guys made so many excuses for Brendan. There's a guy right in front of you who doesn't know Brendan from Adam, doesn't know Brendan from fucking Steve. Brendan went out of his way to insult him. The guy still forgave him, never laid him a racist, was a bit more understanding about it, very mature, and Brendan still went in bad mouthing. And Brendan's like, Joe Rogan's like, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get why people hate Brendan so much. The proof, the noise is coming from inside the house. The noise is coming from in the house.
Doesn't make any sense. It just didn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes he says shit
Yes,
that
it
doesn't
does.
make sense. And maybe if you were in the room with him, he wouldn't have said it.
So many qualifiers, isn't it? Maybe if you're in a room, maybe if you're white, maybe if you like comedy, maybe if you're part of the 250, maybe if you're taller, maybe if you're like what? All these qualifiers. Why? Why can't he just say like a dumb thing, come across like a dick, and you can just call him a dick? Like what's with all these qualifiers? Oh, like all this coddling. That's also why I think he became such an insufferable douchebag. He was really mollycoddled. He was really pampered and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like everyone went out their way to accommodate him and all this stuff. Like, just call it out. The guy's being a dick. You're being a dick. Stop being a dick. If not, I'm gonna stop being your friend. Not that hard.
Or maybe he would have said it better. Or maybe he would have, said, are these really the best minds?
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Rogan. Whatever, Rogan. Whatever, Rogan. Whatever, Rogan. Let's finish the video.
After Vaughn's departure in 2022, the show was rebranded as The Golden Hour with a new co-host lineup. In 2023, he also expanded into business, launching his own whiskey brand, Tiger Thick Whiskey, under his Thick Boy label.
You try to be a thick boy?
Yeah, man.
My favorite era, hands down, has to be the alcoholic era. I would say the stand-up era was also a good era, but I think specifically I'm into the I drink whiskey, now I'm gonna become a whiskey brand owner, I'm gonna have my own whiskey. That was my favorite era of Brendan. I swear on my life. My favorite era, hands down, was the I'm a fucking whiskey guy, and then that turned into I'm an alcoholic. That was fucking brilliant.
2018, Schaub launched
Big up Josie. Josie knows ball, exactly. Such a good era.
King and the Sting with Theo Von, and after Von's departure in 2022, the show was rebranded as The Golden Hour with a new co-host lineup. In 2023, he also expanded into business.
Oh my god, big up KC. Big up KC, the fish era. I completely forgot about it. See how many eras, how many arcs, how many fucking sagas this guy's involved in. I completely forgot about the fish. What a time to be alive. Remember when he was balls deep into fish? Do you remember that? The fish tank, the fishes. Oh my god. What an era. What a time to be alive, honestly. We've had some fun following Brendan, innit? He's given us some fun. He's given us some fucking laughs. He's provided us with some fucking laughs, man.
Launching his own whiskey brand, Tiger Thick Whiskey, under his Thick Boy label.
You try to be a thick boy?
Yeah, man. It's exhausting.
You guys gotta stop calling each other thick boys. That's the name of his brand.
Rogan don't like the name?
He was like, I love the whiskey, don't like the name. I was like, well,
Rogan is smart.
Well, not when it comes to marketing. If it was stand-up or business-wise, I'll listen, but...
Jesus Christ. Rogan's smart not in terms of marketing. I don't know. I think his bank balance would beg to differ. Rogan's smart, but not in terms of marketing. I think his bank balance would beg to differ.
Marketing, I'll take it from it.
So you came out with this thing, and it's good, apparently, right?
Great, award-winning.
Right.
Later in 2018, Schaub entered a feud with Dana White after Israel Adesanya shared a clip criticizing Schaub's opinions.
I think everyone's all high and mighty on these guys who come from, kickboxing and boxing background. When they come over to the UFC, they expect them to be these elite strikers. the distance, the combos, the head movement, it's a completely different game. So to me, that never translates. It doesn't.
White insulted Schaub's fight career, prompting Schaub to respond with sarcasm and threats to release the hounds if the feud continued.
Made a comment, and then Dana chimes in on there. I did not come after him. I did not ask for this. Dude, I've been retired for how long? I'm out of the game, man. The reason you guys have been a fan of mine or you're with me for this long is because, I'm a wild boy and I shoot from the hip.
Was this the post that BGL proofread? Or was that the other one? I think the lore is later on we found out that BGL was involved in one of these, right? BGL was the ghostwriter. Was it this one or another one? This is hilarious. Yes, Joe Rogan, one of my best friends has played a significant role in my post-fight career. No doubt. You're right about that, Dana White. 2 TV shows, sold out worldwide comedy tour, 2 successful podcasts, and just booked my first major movie. Super great. By the way, how much of that stuff was legit? Honestly, looking back again, look at the fumble. Let's imagine all that stuff is true. Let's imagine he did have a sold out worldwide tour. Let's imagine he did have 2 successful podcasts. Let's imagine he did just book a first major movie. Now fast forward to now. He's selling his cars. He's downsizing his house. His podcast doesn't get 100,000 views anymore. It barely goes over 50,000. Brutal fall from grace, isn't it? Brutal fall from grace. At one point, he had 2 TV shows, a sold-out worldwide comedy tour, 2 successful podcasts, and he booked a major movie. And now he's having to downsize his house, sell cars, and only getting 40,000 to whatever views on his podcast. Crazy. Anyway, super grateful. However, if it weren't for the Fertitas loaning your ass millions of dollars to invest into an idea that wasn't yours from the start, you wouldn't be shit. How's it feel to know that once a real businessman / brains left, the UFC has been a shell of itself with you at the forefront? You tried it all. CM Punk experiment, begging Brock to come back, praying at night for a Conor text. Tough job to do without Lorenzo holding your hand, making sure you don't mess it all up. Can't feel good. You'd be a cardio kickboxing coach in Boston in your late 40s, hoping to grab a ticket to my stand-up front row if Lorenzo Fertitta didn't save your ass. By the way, that's a really good insult, but it's also insulting to your fans, because I think at that time when he was doing comedy, there was probably quite a few cardio kickboxing coaches in the audience, so it's kind of insulting to his fans. Like, his nightmare is actually his nightmare role, his nightmare job, or his nightmare place in life is actually the reality for a lot of his fans. A lot of his fans are like regular people, innit? So I love how he put that insult in there, but it's actually you're kind of insulting your fans here. But anyway, also, this is no way Eskimo brothers should talk to one another. Last warning. Then kind of revealing that Dana White fucked Ronda Rousey, which is crazy, by the way. We got Ronda Rousey.
And I have these hot takes, right? That comes with a price. And the price was the UFC doesn't fuck with me.
After the Adesanya situation, the conflict escalated further.
You're trying to talk shit to somebody who retired 4 years ago.
By the way, what a bad call he made at Adesanya as well, by the way. Brendan's got a catalog. He's got an encyclopedia full of bad takes, isn't it? That take on fucking Israel Adesanya was fucking awful. You won't be able to translate those skills from, what? Honestly, that was a horrible take from Brendan. Hall of Fame horrible take.
On social media, go on Instagram comments, talk shit. How petty can you get? You think that makes you look smart?
Schaub went on a public rant criticizing Dana White's leadership.
When you try to lead by fear, it doesn't work, man. I challenge any of you guys. Name one fighter who's been close to Dana that's never had an issue. Name one.
Speaking out about fighter pay.
You're working your ass off to fight another man in a cage, and you're looking for some sort of approval from the head guy who controls your destiny, who controls how much success you're going to have, who controls what matchups you get, who controls how much publicity you get, who controls now what sponsors you get. And no one can say anything because they're scared to lose their job.
How the promotion treats its athletes.
He's notoriously done this for years and years and years, where he just talks shit about the guys. And they're not doing well, man. Those guys just lost the biggest fight of their lives. They're going to have their pay. And they're not feeling good about themselves. And then the boss, you're the captain of the ship. When you're shitting on all the employees on the ship, it doesn't make people feel good. Why be a bully this day and age? Why continue to shit on people? You've won, man. You're a CEO of $1 billion company.
And arguing that the UFC ultimately decides who gets pushed and who succeeds.
It's a crab-like world. Everyone's pulling each other down, trying to get to the top. And then the biggest fat fucking lobster's at the top, Dana White, pushing you guys down. I tell you the truth. You're a dick.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Dana being the fat lobster is funny, and he is a dick, to be fair. In this regard, Brendan's right. Dana is a fat lobster. At that time, he was really greedy. He still probably is. And he's, you know, let's be fair. He's also, you know, he's a bit of a dick. He's a bit of a dick. Which makes the Rogan friendship even funny. Like I said, the Rogan friendship is really funny when it comes to Dana. Because if Dana was working in comedy, treating the fighters the way treating comedians how he treated fighters, Rogan wouldn't be his friend. That's a really funny thing about it. If Dana owned a comedy club and was treating comedians the way he treats fighters, Rogan would have a really hard time being his friend. Hearing other comedians complain about their money, not getting paid and shit, like, ugh.
And everyone's sick of it. And after all that, I still have no hate in my heart. I have zero hate towards Dana White.
In January 2000...
Yo, be out Coil in the chat, be out Coil Wagwan G. Right, but I don't think he understands the analogy. Crabs pull each other down. They don't push. Oh yeah, true, I didn't hear that, innit? He didn't say that, did he? Hold on.
Shit on people. You've won, man. You're a CEO of $1 billion company.
And arguing that the UFC ultimately decides who gets pushed and who succeeds.
It's a crab-like world. Everyone's pulling each other down, trying to get to the top. And then the biggest fat fucking lobster's at the top, Dana White, pushing you guys down.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, he's going back, pushing lobsters, pushing back down. Oh, yeah,
I tell you the truth. You're a dick. And everyone's sick of it. And after all that, I still have no hate in my heart. I have zero hate towards Dana White.
In January 2019, after roughly 2.5 years performing stand-up comedy, Schaub filmed his first one-hour comedy special titled You'd Be Surprised.
I think you'd be surprised.
The special premiered on Showtime in May 2019, though it received heavy criticism from viewers and critics. Despite the backlash, Schaub continued performing stand-up and producing podcasts. In 2020, when Bryan Callen was accused of sexual misconduct, Schaub publicly supported him. This garnered mixed reactions and pushed the fighter and the kid into hiatus before being revived with guest hosts. In April 2022, he released a second comedy special, The Gringo Papi, directly on YouTube, which also received widespread criticism online. In the same year, Schaub would again find himself in a public disagreement with UFC President Dana White. In 2022, during the chaos surrounding UFC 279, Schaub claimed the UFC may have reshuffled the fight card due to poor pay-per-view interest.
Looking back now, this theory from Brendan wasn't that far-fetched, was it? At the time he was mocked, but looking back, it wasn't such a far-fetched theory. It's entirely possible, isn't it? Brendan Shaw's theory, conspiracy theory, although it sounded insane at the time, looking back now, it wasn't that far off, was it?
You have a gun?
Yo, big up Chip.
Hess saying the lobster thing correctly. Boiling lobsters pulled each other down trying escape from at the top.
But they don't push each other down. They pull each other down. They don't push. He's saying they push each other down. I guess they kind of push each other down by virtue of trying to get up, trying to get out, right? But they're not actively going and doing this. They're pushing each other down by trying to get out themselves. Anyway, what are we doing? This is pure tism on Spectrum. This is us being tism Spectrum out. I love it. Big up Chip though. Big up Chip. This is us being tism. We're tismed out right now. We're tismed out. Is that okay? Cool. We're split, but that's the beauty of slop content though. Don't stop. That's the beauty of slop content. We are pulling, like I'm pulling hairs. We're all inventing stuff and making it up in our heads. This is the beauty of slop content. You pull hairs over things that really don't matter. We can't tell none of our real friends we enjoy this stuff. Come on, we can't tell none of our real friends we talk about this fucking shit. So we have to pull hairs amongst each other. So don't stop pulling hairs, people. Always keep pulling hairs. Overanalyze everything.
Dana took his shots at me during the press conference because someone goes, have you heard the theory of, you know, this was a conspiracy and you guys knew this was going to happen? The card just so happened to work out that you had a 180-pound fight on this and nobody wants to see Nate Diaz versus Hamzat and you switched it the day before. There's too much chaos in the back. The guys are fighting. It's complete pandemonium. I watched, I went, huh. I bet the footage can be lit. Day goes by, nothing. Another day goes by, nothing. After the fights, I'm like, they're gonna release some of it, nothing. We gotta cancel the press conference.
And I was like, man, I've been around the UFC a long time, man. I've never seen him cancel a press. That's weird. And then I find out Khamzat missed weight, and they're like, yeah, but Kevin Holland's at 180. This is perfect. I was like, oh, it is perfect. And I was like, and they're like, and also, Tony versus Nate Diaz. And I was like, that's perfect too. And then I'm like, oh, they planned this. I just feel like the pay-per-view wasn't selling.
Dana White publicly denied the theory and took a shot at Schaub, calling the claim stupid.
I heard.
Big up Assad.
In the content world, das is my guilty side ting, especially in that bonnet.
Hey, hey. Yeah, we out here, bro. We out here. Can I be someone's sighting? Is it possible? Am I cute enough to be? Because if you're sighting, you're either cute or you're butters, right? If you're sighting, you're either cute or you're fucking clapped. You're chopped as fuck. Can I be cute enough to be? Am I cute enough to be a sighting? Am I cute enough? Am I cute enough to be a sighting, or am I just one of those? Am I those ugly sightings that is always available, always open, always ready? Text whenever you want. I'll just open the door. I'll leave the door open. I'm always shaved. I don't ask any. I mean, what type of sighting am I? Am I a cute sighting? Am I cute? Don't ask if you're cute. Fuck. Big up Rafael Quinto. Exactly. If you have to ask if you're cute, you're not cute, innit? If you have to ask if you're cute, you're probably not cute.
This thing today, and again, I don't know.
Big up all the cute sightings. Big up all the ugly sightings. It doesn't matter if you're ugly, if you're cute, and you're sighting. As long as you're getting it, you're getting it. Big up.
How true it is or whatever, that Pat Miletich was saying, we told Khamzat not to make weight because we weren't selling tickets. The fucking show was sold out going into that day of the weigh-in. I don't know if Pat really said that.
By the way, I love this, by the way. This is probably my favorite thing from Dana ever in life. Dana knew Pat Miletich didn't say that. Dana knew Pat Miletich, the legend, didn't say that. He knew he didn't say that. He said that on purpose because he wanted the press to correct him. He wanted the media to correct him and say it was Brendan, so that he could then say the final thing. It was a brilliant setup from Dana. Brilliant setup. I don't know if Pat Miletich said that. Like, I'm surprised Pat Miletich would say that. Pat Miletich is usually a really smart guy. It's really surprising that someone like Pat Miletich would say that. Like, why would he say that? And then the media were like, it wasn't actually Pat Miletich. It was Dana. It was Brendan. And then, so good.
But if he did, he has to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. You know how fucking stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're fucking serious. We might have to send him out to the clinic here, the brain clinic.
I believe that was Brendan Sha who said that.
It was what?
Brendan Sha who made up that conspiracy.
Oh, it wasn't Pat Miletich? That makes sense. Bye.
Spark.
So good. So good.
Another public exchange between the two.
But he's basically saying all that stuff and then calling me a fucking dummy. My brother's like, Dana called you a fucking idiot. And I'm like...
Dana called you a fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. And he's very to the point.
That next day, I drove to Ontario.
Fucking hell, Brian. What kind of friend is that? Fucking hell, Brian. What kind of friend is that? Brendan. Dana called me a fucking idiot. Oh, really? Yeah, that's Dana for you. He's very to the point. Huh? Defend me, motherfucker. Defend me. About Dana's really ready to the point. Fucking defend me, you idiot.
And I was like, I'm gonna do a bit on this. I just lit him up. He gives me content. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
bring
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, bring it. Those of you that don't know, he called me a fucking dummy. And I'm 39 years old. It's not nice. If my theory on UFC 279 is so outlandish, why so mad, bro?
As a fighter, Schaub never captured a championship, but he achieved a respectable career. He was a TUF finalist, earned notable wins against legends like Cro Cop, and at his peak was ranked among the world's top 10 heavyweights. His ability to knock out seasoned opponents gave fans plenty of thrilling moments. Schaub's fighting career is often overshadowed by what he built afterward. By retiring early and reinventing himself, he became an example of a fighter transitioning successfully into media and comedy.
There are fighters in the UFC right now who are looking at what I'm doing post-career going, holy shit, man. You fighters listening, let me tell you something. If I can do it, you sure as fuck can do it.
Leveraging his platform and connections to build a second career outside the octagon. Loved by some, disliked by others, but always talked about.
There's a lot smarter, more talented people than me out there in this world who fought in the UFC. Get out of the mindset that all you have to do is staying fighting or anything like that. I promise you guys, you can do this if I can do it.
Not actually true though, isn't it? Like, you got a lot of help, mate. So, you know, you can try, but it's not going to be to this level. He got to the level that he got to, where he was driving Porsches and Ferraris and owning mansions and multiple other cars and all the trainers he wanted out of the world. Like, he was living very lavish. A part of it was to do with the Rogan thing. Yes, a lot of fighters should have probably jumped into the content game a lot sooner, right? But it's not to say that everyone can do what Brendan could have done. A lot of what Brendan done was a lot to do with the connections he made while he was fighting, especially the Rogan and Brian Callen thing. Like, that just took him to another level.
I promise you guys.
Anyway, brilliant video. I enjoyed that, by the way. Big up Flashback MMA. I really enjoyed that one. That was really good. What's the comment saying about Brendan? Let's a comment saying. Use your degree to sell supplements. This was by far the nicest breakdown of Brendan's career. Agreed. Rare, funny Rogan, too late. Still makes me want to vomit that he knocked out Krokop. See, exactly. I think UFC fans hated him because of that. From I love you Denver to what's up Dallas. The AI narration is such. Schaub sure likes to talk about Schaub. You know, the UFC ain't striking this video down. Brendan, that's hilarious. Brendan complaining about not having books in the tough house is funnier than yeah, exactly. I dislike Brendan as much as the next person, but dang, Dana White is insufferable. Exactly, I told you. Someone needs to do an intervention with Rogan about his so-called stand-up comedy. This is going to flag. Yeah, that's true. He did an intervention of Brendan's UFC. Why can't people do it about his comedy? I don't care for sure one bit, but he's probably right about most things accused of Dana. Definitely how Dana treats his stars and how he talks about them. Implying Aspinall was faking his injury was a recent one. That was baffling. He's annoyed that his main ended up disappointing when Aspinall is apparently a pretty tough negotiator. So what does Dana do? Burn down his UFC champions' credibility while meanwhile not having a word of criticism for Gain, the notorious eye poker who ruined Tom's career. Exactly. Dana is gross. Exactly. You can hate Brendan and also hate Dana at the same time. I think it's fair to say. But in that scenario, I think Dana's definitely in the wrong. I've watched too much Napoleon blown apart that I expect a Rampage sting after you say his name. It's crazy to think that how Ben Rothwell and Brendan fought in 2012 and then Big Ben went on to fight for BKFC debut in 2022, KOing his 20 seconds, and then later on putting on Mike Turo. Schaub finding success after fighting is both inspiring and terrifying. Exactly. That is the one there. Schaub finding success after fighting is both inspiring and terrifying, because if he can do it, you surely can do it. But the fact that he did it is terrifying because he's legitimately dumb. He's legitimately fucking dumb as fuck and very, very unlikable. But he still did it though. He still did it. You can't take away from that. He still did it. That was a great short video. I learned a lot about him I didn't know. When I was recovering opioid addict with my friends, not single dicey. After seeing his stand-up, I realized he didn't have a bad joke. Brendan is the joke. He really does suck though. I mean, just as a human being. Exactly. He really does. He's hard. Like, you should be able to root for him, but he's hard to root for. When you know more about him, he's hard to root for. He's a really hard guy to get behind, Brendan. That's a real problem behind him. Very, very hard guy to get behind. Very, very hard guy to get behind.